Hello teacups, what's brewing? We're back with Chantal's video. It's the weekend. Is the weekend misspelt because that's how the group spells it, or is it just her typing? I don't know. But anyway, she's back in her car, she's doing a thing, and we're just gonna take a quick step into here and discuss a few of the points she made. So let's get started.
Gotta clean up my car a bit. I thought there'd be a freaking garbage here. I'm gonna go to the other gas station, I think, where there's like a whole bunch of garbages. Can we get a nice coffee? You know, I'm trying not to have a Nashville chicken sandwich today, but geez.
Guys, she had 3 Nashville chicken sandwiches, she said, yesterday. She did do a live from her mystery boyfriend, also known as Dom's house, last night, and showed off some of her new weed strains that she didn't seem to like the smell of very much, and just her same as last time, where she was very giggly, talking a lot, muting the live stream a lot, and then covering it up to talk to the person next to her. But during that, she mentioned, "Oh, I've had 3 today." Like, this Nashville chicken saga's been going. It's been going and going, and it would be nice if she just put a little more variety in.
Sure could go for one. My car's beyond. I need to get it professionally cleaned. I just want to get rid of all the trash.
Remember, was it a month ago when she spilled an entire large Twisty Misty all over a seat and just let it absorb and was like, "It's fine"? That's still going on. That's not been fixed.
You know? I need a coffee. I'm gonna forget it.
I live that life.
I don't know. Like, I don't feel like a little sleepy, but mostly just like tired, exhausted.
I was a bit concerned about this phrasing just because, okay, so tired, exhausted, and sleepy to me have all very similar meanings. It's all same ballpark. But she's been using sleepy interchangeably with words like relaxed when she's talking about being kind of down and slightly catatonic from the amount of drugs she's been taking. Now, she's driving a car, so let's hope that's not what she means, because to me, the fact that she's separating tired, exhausted, and I still feel a little sleepy but not too bad, doesn't make sense unless she means she's still kind of got a bit of a residue of whatever she was taking in her system still. I'm not accusing her of that. I'm not saying she's definitely doing that, but it was a weird distinction to make, and it has some concerning connotations.
I think for me not to, it would take like a good solid month at least of just like routinely doing everything, like you know, getting up, drinking water, taking your vitamins, having a healthy breakfast, all that kind of stuff, like just and then like going to bed at a decent hour, you know, regular human care shit.
Yeah, you know, the human care shit of taking care of yourself as an adult. Yeah, the human care shit. Now, don't get me wrong, the human care shit can sometimes feel very difficult depending on where you are with your mental health, but her mental health seems to become an issue when she doesn't want to do things and not be an issue when she does. So I'm hesitant to give her the benefit of the doubt with a lot of her mental health talk, because it seems to crop up more strongly when it's convenient. Now, in terms of all the other stuff she's saying there, all the examples she's giving there, it does take a certain amount of time to form a habit. Is it 28 days or is it different now? I can't remember. But it would take time to make those things into a habit, is the point I'm making, whatever amount of time that was. So there's something to be said for that. But in terms of it making you feel better, that can happen really, really quickly. And we've seen it happen with her. The first flush of success when she's in the honeymoon of the first day or two and she feels amazing, because that's as far as she gets with all her diet plans. But you can feel better really, really quickly. And that just gives you more momentum to change other things when you feel how much better you feel. Thing is, she never gets past the first day or two. So she gets to like when it starts to dip down, it's not exciting anymore, and she never pushes past that. So she doesn't know how long it would take to change, because she's in recent history being the last year or so, let's say since I've been reacting, She's never gone more than a few days in any change. So she has no idea how long it would take. Maybe try it and see. But it's just her saying, oh, it would take a solid month. A solid month is insurmountable to her right now. The idea of her doing anything at all for a solid month that wasn't entirely hedonistic the way the drugs and the live streams have been, the way of reducing effort that the live streams have provided. Something that might actually be good for her and require effort, well, yes, it would take a solid month. So there's no way it's gonna happen, is more the point she's making here.
I probably have to do that for like a good solid month. At least before I start feeling not better.
Try it and see. Why not?
Yeah, I need a drink before I start moving around. You know how I do.
Part of me wants to be like, seriously, the other part of me, guys, if you've ever tried to have me do something pre-coffee, I do feel it a little bit.
I'm gonna be probably beezing later. Alright, let me go.
Shocking.
I don't want to do stuff. You know what I need to get
Again,
here? What
shocking.
do I need to do to clean up my car? I'm gonna see if they have garbage bags. And something, water would be nice. You know what? I'm just gonna suck it up. I don't want to get out of my car, basically, is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't say not getting out of a car is necessarily sucking anything up. Like, getting out of your car and doing a thing would be sucking it up. But there we go.
I don't want to go in a store. Like, I don't physically want to have to go in a store today at all. But you know what? It's Saturday. It's my life. I only get to live once. Oh, there's a seagull.
Is she seriously using I only get to live once as a reason to not do shit? Usually goes the opposite way. It's like, I only get to live once, let's just suck it up and do it. You know? No, let's not do the thing because this is the only opportunity we'll have. It's our one life. Excuse me? Excuse me.
Oh, I know. People are gonna think I'm on drugs. Yeah, I know. People already do.
Again, not a joking. And people don't think. People have seen you. You have told them you're on drugs and then they've seen evidence of when you're lying. But the whole reason for putting that sentences was just to bait people, so we won't spend too long on it.
Like, it's hard because I'm naturally a weirdo, so you can't really tell.
Smokey Steve said something in his latest recap of how he was embarrassed for Chantal when she had like that 4-minute live when she was drunk and she was like, oh, it's just one drink. And he was embarrassed for her and embarrassed for himself because he used to believe when he said shit like that it was believable. And now he's sort of wiser and less under the influence, he's able to see how obvious it was not the case. And I feel like, to an extent, that's what this is. Well, I'm just a weirdo. No, you can't tell. It's more convincing herself, no, that there's not that much difference in my behavior. It's not obvious because I don't have a problem.
This is embarrassing as hell. Alright, let's... Oh, do I have to get out of my car? Let me see if I have a garbage bag somewhere.
Do you see this as well? Just pause there for a sec. This is as embarrassing as hell. It's Saturday, which I assume means the stores are going to be busier. I don't want to go in. I don't want to be seen. She talks a big game on YouTube. She'll flash her ass on YouTube and leave it in the live stream. She'll, do it on purpose. She'll show her boobs. She'll walk around in semi-transparent underwear with nothing on underneath. Like, she does a lot of shit on YouTube, which doesn't count because we're not there. But when it comes down to the real life shit, she gets embarrassed. And how she looks right now, in the sense of the clothes she's wearing, like she's wearing that pink dress again. She isn't fully made up. Like, she's not prepared for being in real life right now. So it's always interesting to see her in real life. And the reason we're getting a lot of this talk of, my family is so annoying, I wish they'd stop messaging me, blah, 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 because in real life, she doesn't live the game she talks a lot of the time in terms of her own self-confidence and screw these guys and I'm gonna live my life. She doesn't live it, for better or for worse.
Oh, I do have a garbage bag. Yeah. Holy crap. How many Twisty Misties have I been drinking, guys?
Too many. Here the trash. An entire garbage bag's worth.
Okay.
Look at
Well,
that.
it's just...
Look how full that garbage bag is right now, just from drink cartons. And imagine, she said she needs her car professionally cleaned. Twisty Misties are pure sugar. So you've got the traces, assuming they're all empty, you've got the traces of the bottom of the cup going sticky and gross all over her back seat, smelling in that way, old drink containers smell. And it's obviously been long enough to pile up like this. She treats her car the way she treats the floor of her bedroom. And it's gotta be awful to be constantly surrounded by trash.
A couple Burger King cups here. Am I embarrassed? No. Yes, actually, I'm ashamed. I'm bending right over so everyone can see.
And that poor woman walking behind. And why are you doing that? Why not just crouch down? Like, you have control about how you're doing this. And you've shown us your ass on live. So either you're ashamed or you're not ashamed. But it's real life. Just crouch down. Be a bit more of a lady.
Oh, my ass. But I don't really care.
It's not real.
I'm single. Who says I'm not single?
Madam.
I have a boyfriend. I never said anything officially.
Okay, well that's not the same thing now, is it? Actually, didn't she say? I feel like maybe it's addressed later, but I feel like at some point she slipped and called someone her boyfriend. Maybe it was in the last live? Can't remember off the top of my head.
I did say I had a boyfriend? When?
Yeah, I thought so.
I didn't. Did I?
I feel like she did. Also, I'm a tad concerned by the fact that she can't remember a single thing she said because she was somewhat under the influence.
What are you talking about? Who's next? I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody supplies me any stuff.
That was a comment Who's Next left saying, okay, so the dude that gives you D and supplies you with shit is not your boyfriend, got it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a point.
That's like starting to get on my fucking nerves so bad. You know, because then like people like friends and family start believing all this fucking shit.
The fact that friends and family may potentially still watch this and she's still doing all this on camera horrifies me. Because yes, she's got the kind of community that will reach out to family members in a way that's not necessarily appropriate, I think. But if I were her uncle, if I were her mum, if I were a concerned family member who were checking in and going like, are you doing this yet? Are you okay? Are you definitely not? I would check in on her channel. I would, because it would be the only source of information I had that I could see, rather than just kind of her word that you have to take. And I would have massive concerns. It doesn't seem to be stopping her, but I'd have massive concerns.
They're like freaking out and messaging me, and I'm just like, stop fucking listening to what people who have no fucking idea what they're talking about on the internet are saying.
Sorry, I stopped that early. Yeah, not everything on the internet is reliable. Congratulations. Yeah, don't listen to everybody. But if they come to her channel and they see what we've seen, and they do a cursory search of YouTube and see all of the stuff on, like, the pictures, you only have to like type in Foodie Beauty and you can see the pictures when we're like, hey, this looks suspiciously like a white powder on your nose. And yes, sometimes information ends up being wrong. Grain of salt always, but maybe not grain of salt around your nostril, eh? So they're gonna be concerned, and what you put out is concerning enough without us needing to be in the picture. Like, there are reasons your family are asking questions. Think about what you're presenting here.
Yeah, I buy my own weed. I have like from a store. It's legal here.
And again, we talked about the legality and illegality of what is available versus what she has. Yes, weed is legal. The weed she is buying, the 1,000 milligram chocolate bars, the Shatter Bears, which are like 50 milligrams a bear, they do not meet the requirements and the control limits that are currently in place in her province. Because in her province, you're meant to buy them from a licensed source, and they don't have more than 10 milligrams a piece in it. So what she's buying, while available online, doesn't seem to be from the sources the government provides. So the legality of it is somewhat grey, and she definitely holds more than is legally permissible per person at any given time. But it doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised people were questioning, oh, I buy my own weed. Of course she buys her own weed. That's part of the appeal, the fact that she brings stuff to the table, quite literally, when she's with this dude. Like, she pays for a lot of shit. And the question of finances is going to come up in this stream again. But of course she buys her own weed. We've counted up how much she's paid for it. Like, the last haul she did was over $500.
Have your man friend come to your place. I don't have a man friend. Guys, I don't. What? Everyone's just assuming everything.
This would be a really good example of her gaslighting her audience. I don't have a man friend, you just assume. You assume when I'm lying in my lingerie on a floor mattress that the guy who was coughing and burping and doing other things off screen that we could clearly hear was present when he wasn't present. She was about to step into this lie. She does kind of step back from it when she realizes how fucking ridiculous that sounds. But to sit here going, the guy doesn't exist, which is what she starts with, but not what she ends with. Like, oh, I don't have a man friend. We're nothing official. Well, that's not the same thing. That is not the same thing, and you know it.
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna lie about that part.
I'm gonna try, but I'm not gonna lie because it would be utterly ridiculous to a point that even I can't defend.
I don't want to confirm or deny anything, but
you don't want to confirm. You've literally live streamed from his place. What do you mean you don't want to confirm? Jesus.
I'm not like in a serious relationship or anything like that.
We know that. You have serious ramifications of this relationship, but it being important to either of you, no.
Having fun with some people.
Question. Sorry, I know I'm stopping it every few seconds. Some people? You're having fun with some people? Did Don's friend throw another 50 at you and you're a little hard up for money right now? What do you mean, some people?
I'm not in anything committed. I'm just, why do you guys think I'm not going to go with Shannon? I am going to go with Shannon. Like, why would I blow, even if I was with a guy, why would it, like, let's say I was with Dom, why would I blow Shannon?
Let's say, for example, plucked out of thin air that I'm hypothetically with Dom. Yeah, let's go with that hypothetical, shall we?
And offer Dom when I can, like, see him every day.
Because that's what you do? Because one presumes, perhaps incorrectly, that Shannon isn't providing you with drugs and D? One presumes because you flaked on every social occasion we've ever seen you undertake in the last 2 years, and the one you did go to, the bachelorette party, you went and sat up front in the limo with the driver because you couldn't handle the social situation. Like, there's plenty of reasons why we would think you would do that.
You know, usually if I blew people off, I do this a lot, and
yeah, you do.
Could understand being disappointed because honestly, like, I would blow people off because, like, I wasn't really, like, I was in denial about my mental health. Like, to a degree, I still am. Like, I'm not getting probably the appropriate help I need right now, and I know that. That's my choice. And I'm working on that.
No, you're not. You're not working on that. You've made a choice, and it is your choice, but you've made a choice. But if you're making that choice, if you're making the choice to not do stuff, because I'm working on that, no, you're not. Show me the actions you have taken to work on that. You have planned to work on it, which is all you ever do with anything. You plan it, you don't do it.
But, like, in the past, I would blow people off a lot. Like, before I was on antidepressants, like, I would blow people off. Friends, I would make plans with people, constantly making plans. Just, like, I would blow people off, if anything, for mental health reasons. Like, I would make plans, and it'd be, like, a month in advance, and I'd feel, like, safe at the time, and, like, okay, I have a month, I can mentally prepare that I have to actually socialize with people. And it has nothing to do with them. Like, I actually, like, seeing my friends is just anxiety. Like, I don't know how, there's no other way. Like, you could just use that one word for so many things.
We're going to get into that in a second, but I understand what that feels like. Like, guys, legitimately, I hate being in situations with people I don't really know where I have to small talk. People, I can do it. I don't like to do it. It makes me very uncomfortable. I either get to know a person in a non-face-to-face way and then it's already comfortable when I meet them, or I kind of avoid it. So I get mentally what she's talking about. Now, she has blown people off since being on antidepressants. It's not something that's changed, but it can sometimes be something you have to work up to if you've got that kind of personality, if you're in that frame of mind. It's something that definitely takes effort. I'm more introverted in that sense, and so when it comes to like, okay, we're going somewhere, maybe with a friend I know, which is great, but there's going to be a lot of people I don't know that I'm going to have to do a lot of small talk with. I don't love it. I don't love it. And I get where she's coming from. I really do. And this is another reason why I don't think the Weeknd, for all she's going on about it, I don't think it'll happen. Even if she books the tickets, she'd rather lose the money, which is going to be another conversation in a second, than she would actually go in February. February will come around and there'll be a reason not to go.
Because anxiety does, like, people think people just like use that as an excuse, like, to evade doing everything, and but anxiety is like the only excuse you need.
That was a very telling phrase. First, I don't think people use anxiety to excuse themselves from everything. I don't. I think anxiety can be debilitating. I think there's definitely a spectrum of how serious your anxiety is, how many coping mechanisms you have in place to help you. There's a lot you can do to help manage it, but sometimes it's debilitating, and that is just the case. I don't think that's the case for her. I think as she's gotten bigger, she's gotten less comfortable outside, and we saw that even before physically she was struggling to do things. As she gained weight, she was interacting less and less because she's never really been comfortable in her body, and she was quite embarrassed by it, especially when she was gaining. Whereas she's currently regaining a little, she has said, but she dropped a lot of weight and that did a lot for her confidence, but she's still got some of that in her. It doesn't completely 180 everything she's gone through for as long as she has. So it doesn't surprise me that she's had moments where, as she's gotten physically further away from where she wants to be, it's been harder to face people, particularly people she knows, because especially with like lockdown and everything, and with it being so long since she's seen them, it can be quite a stark difference. And we've said this when we've compared older videos to newer videos. We've sometimes highlighted, hey, there seems to have been a real decline here. And I think part of her is aware of it and just doesn't want people she knows, real people in her life, to see that. She wants to maintain that image. I don't necessarily blame her for it. But this here being like, anxiety is all the excuse you need. Again, the use of the word excuse. Anxiety can be terrible, but she only needs it. It is a reason, but she's using it as an excuse. And the way she's phrased that just shows it more.
Like, when you have anxiety, it prevents you. It's like debilitating. It's like an actual disability. It's a mental disability. There's mental disabilities, there's physical disabilities. And that's just like, you know what I mean?
Healthcare expert Chantal is one of my least favorite Chantals, especially because she either really patronizes you or just talks complete bullshit. Yes, of course there are mental and physical disabilities, but again, depression, anxiety, they can get to the point where they're disabilities, they can. But for her, at least, from the evidence we've seen, at least, because I'm not her doctor, I haven't been in that office when she's been talking about it, I don't see her every moment. Hers is a condition. She has a condition, a mental condition that can be managed. And managed in the proper way, managed with the help of a professional, not managed by just completely zonking out on weed and whatever else. And she's not doing that. And she's crying out, disability, I've got a disability, to make it more defendable, to make it harder to question, because if someone's got a disability, of course you shouldn't question that. What's the matter with you? You're such an asshole. And you're like, no, you've got a condition, a completely manageable condition that you are choosing not to manage, and it is not the same thing. So the words you're throwing around to excuse yourself from managing your own life, they're not appropriate here. And it belittles people who are in a position where they find that for whatever reason, they can't help their conditions.
I guess like if I'm with a lover, I don't mind as much like if I'm living with somebody like a lover, but to be with them, but even then I kind of like my space once in a while, like, you know.
And I think that's completely, even if you're in a really close relationship with somebody, it's completely fine and healthy to be like, okay, we have some degree of separation. We're not codependent. She does show signs of being very codependent when we've seen her in her relationship. She gets very possessive very quickly. She wants to like know everything they're doing. She's very suspicious, and that's just in what we've seen in the last few months. But notice how she says, okay, with lovers, because remember we talked a few videos ago, you might not remember, if you're new here, hi, but we talked a few videos ago about how she was showing signs of just trying to get to that point where she can be comfortable and whatever it means, when she can drop the pretense. Because to her, comfortable is being able to not have to maintain this image of taking care of herself and doing her makeup and bathing regularly and all the things that we see on camera her not doing so much when she doesn't have an outside force influencing her. But in the same breath, she's saying, well, he's not a lover. We're not in a relationship. We don't have that official status. And she's not living with him. So she's able to go out when she prioritizes it, when she wants to. But the moment it comes to anyone who might question her, anyone that might try to steer her in a healthier direction, anyone that might just make her reflect on her choices, then her anxiety is too bad. The way she's classifying these things just doesn't seem to be consistent, mostly because I think she's pulling it out of her ass as she talks, but there isn't a consistency in it, I find.
Like when I was living with BB, I would like see, just like go in the room and be alone or do my videos or whatever. But if you're constantly
That's
alone,
normal.
like separated, like a lot of couples do that, like their own thing though, you know, like you have your own room. And
I don't know about own room in terms of you're living together and sleeping separately, but she might just mean your own space to do your own hobbies, which yes, that's normal. But again, it's not really related to what she's saying. She's getting off topic as she talks.
I promise you, I mean, I know my promises pretty much mean nothing at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm going to do videos again. It's not like I'm not going to do videos.
Obviously? Why obviously? It's been what? Are we on 3 months now with no pre-recorded videos? And again, her intentions in terms of lies versus failure. Remember that conversation? She's failing to do videos. She's not necessarily lying, but she's being deliberately vague with timelines. And to say, oh, well, I've got the intention. Yeah, she's got the intention at some point, just like she's got the intention at some point of losing weight. She's got the intention at some point of being like, no, I'm just living my wild and crazy life right now, but at some point I'll get back to it and I'll do all this stupid adult shit, all the self-care shit. Yeah, we'll get back to it eventually. Because nothing bad will ever happen to me in between. I'll never get to the point where I don't have that choice anymore. I don't think she thinks at any point the consequences are something that actually happened to her.
Nah, probably Tuesday or Wednesday when she's off. Otherwise, yeah, we could have gone today, but she has a job, actual job in her life.
Actual job in her life, yeah, so doesn't that make it slightly shittier that you, let's not say don't have a job in her life because you're clearly doing some things off camera, but you have a very flexible life that you can work around, and she chose to prioritize you in the time she had and you didn't choose to prioritize her. That just makes that kind of shittier.
Chris, Chantal makes us promises that we know you'll never keep. You still love me though, right?
No.
I don't do it on purpose.
I don't believe
And
it.
I won't be doing any Starbucks. I gotta be careful this month with money, Jesus.
Yeah, the amount she gets fast food, it adds up quick, and we'll talk about it in a second, but she's so concerned about her finances right now. She's like, oh, no Starbucks? Like,
No, seriously, do you ever just like wonder like, how did I spend all this money and I have nothing to show for it? And
yeah,
before you
frequently
make
I
any
wonder
jokes
that about
about
you.
anything else, I actually didn't end up spending all that much money on stuff before quitting, which I'm very thankful for.
I'm not sure how she classifies all that much. I'm not sure what her levels are in terms of what she considers all that much. But when we were trying to calculate what she was spending based on kind of what she admitted to spending, we had two main kind of drags of admitted cocaine use. And the first one, she put the number $2,000 out there. This is Canadian, obviously. And then the second time, she said she had a couple of 8-balls, which I think we figured out was going to be about 2,000 again. And she had mentioned that she had done some in between, so it would have been slightly over that. So that's ballpark, at a guess, $4,000 that we know of. And we don't know when she was initially with Dom how much she was paying for, how much he was providing her as a future investment for getting her hooked on, like what it was. But $4,000 that we know of, to me, is quite a lot of money. Because here's the deal with her YouTube. I think she gets a good income from YouTube. I know what I earn from YouTube when I'm hustling, and she gets, I would say, significantly more. So she's got more than enough to sustain her life, but not for big continued expenses. And we've talked about how much she's spending on weed. We've talked as much as we can about how much she's spending on the other drugs based on what we can know. Obviously, there's speculation behind that in terms of what else she's on or taking or being provided with. We don't know exactly. I think she had a little bit of padding in her account because despite the fact that she seems to spend money like water, she does have a decent income and she does manage to get by on it fine. And yes, her costs seem to be escalating now, and this is why we're seeing this, because the padding she may have had, she doesn't have now because she spent so much money in the last month. Because geez guys, so much money. And now the payment is a concern. People have been saying the 21st for YouTube. YouTube sends a payment on the 21st, but when you receive it, depends on how long it takes to get through to your bank. Now it might, given that Google is based in the US, maybe US people get theirs quicker. I'm still waiting on my Google payment. It's the 25th right now because it's Sunday. So what happened was on Friday, the payment hit my account, but obviously it's international. So it was listed as pending in my account, but hadn't actually hit it. And then because the weekend happened to be where the weekend was, the next day wasn't a business day, so I'll receive it Monday. So she may not have her payment yet. So when we tie everything to the 21st, it's between the 21st and the 26th, the money hits your account. I'm getting a bit off topic, sorry. I'm gonna let her finish talking about her finances and we'll talk a bit more.
Because it could be a lot worse. I know I have people close to me that have spent like hundreds of thousands. Like people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on stuff.
Again, she caught it. I have people close to me that have spent hundreds of thousands. People spend hundreds of thousands over the course of an addiction, which I'm sure can be true. But she caught herself because to an extent, as the addiction talk becomes more content and less real to her because she feels a bit safer from it in this moment, she's not in her redemption arc at the minute and she's not sobbing on camera saying, I think I've got a problem. It's becoming less real. And so some of the elements of what she's telling us are now being taken from outside, just the way her TMI story times tend to be taken from multiple sources, like the documentaries she's watching and the news she hears and the articles she reads and the stuff she sees online and the stuff her chat tell her. So she doesn't, I don't believe, could be wrong, doesn't really have someone in her life that spent hundreds of thousands, but the difference, the line between something I heard about and something that happened to me gets more and more blurred the more she talks about it and the more she makes content about it.
Stuff. It's not good. Like on drugs or whatever. Now, I probably spend a good chunk of money on weed, but
Yep.
it's my medication.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna start putting it in my medication drawer.
I've mentioned before how much I hate that she classifies it that way, but also she came off her Ozempic recently. She said it was too expensive and it wasn't working anymore because it wasn't controlling her appetite anymore, despite the fact that she had been working around it with weed from the beginning. It was still controlling her blood sugar. So in terms of it not working, it wasn't getting her to the point where she felt sick and couldn't eat anymore, but it was still doing the thing it's designed to do. But she came off it because it was too expensive and went back to her old one. And that's a choice she made. Okay, I'd be interested to see her blood sugars right now and see if it's still working effectively, but it's a choice she made. So she won't spend money on the thing that actually is working for her, but she will spend more than that on weed. The last haul she had was $500. She was showing off something she bought since, and the Shatter Bears and the things she mentioned even if she didn't show. So she's clearly, her expenditure is large, even on what she considers to be legal.
I want to get more CBD though, because that I did try some capsules, and it did feel like it really helped like take the edge off like of anxiety and stuff. So
again, go to your motherfucking doctor. If your anxiety is this bad, you would not be in your car. You would not be going to DOMS. You'd be shaking in your house. Yeah? If your anxiety was this bad, actually, that might be a little extreme. Apologies to people who have anxiety. I don't suffer with it to that extent. It's not something I can tell you what the symptoms are for every person. So check myself before I wreck myself. But I don't think she could function as well in the things she wants to do if her anxiety was that bad. So either talk to a professional or don't, but stop feeding me this excuse. I'm not taking it.
No weekend tickets.
Yeah, it's $1,000.
I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze it in somewhere. We're gonna see the Weeknd no matter what.
I don't think she is. Even if she spends $1,000 on the tickets, I don't think she's going.
I mean, I know I gotta like definitely be smarten up, you know. Like it's just little things we don't notice things. Like if you follow a strict budget, but we don't, because let's say you're going.
Before she tells the story, have you noticed that when she says, if you follow a strict budget, but we don't, it stopped becoming an I, it's now a we. It's now a thing that people do, not a thing she's doing. It's not true. It's not true that everybody does this. It's true, some people think this way, she thinks this way, but as long as it's not I, she is not responsible for the change.
If you go into like a pharmacy and you see like I do that, like this pair of earrings, for example, was one of those occasions.
I feel like we were there when she purchased those, were we? Or was it when she bought the pink earrings? I remember her going into there and spending over $100 at some point online.
I walked in the store, seen a rack of shiny jewelry, and I was just going to get my prescription. Picked up this, ended up picking up like all these other things. Get to the counter, $150 later, and you're just like, oh well, I'll just add it to the budget somewhere, like in groceries or. But no, you don't do that. Like little things like that add up. Do I need these earrings? Do I care about this bling? Like, you know, like, does anyone care?
Well, that would be why you budget. The point of a budget is not to say, well, this is shiny, so I'll ignore the budget and I'll just put it into a different portion of it. It'll go into a different envelope. And if 150 isn't going to fit in there, you look at the tat you've bought and you go, do I care about this shiny earring? Is it important to my life? Do I need it with the pile of other ugly earrings I have at home? No, I don't. Okay, so let's not buy it. Let's get my prescriptions, and if I still really want it, we'll look at my budget again and I'll order something. That's what budgets are supposed to do. The fact that you make a budget and then you go, this is shiny and I want it now, so I'm going to ignore it. Yeah, budgets don't work that way.
I don't know, it's just like, it's stupid things like that. And it just adds up and adds up and adds up.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's really easy to spend more money than you think you're going to spend on tat, especially when she has no recent experience in managing money in any way. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. But again, it's that I want it now. I have no other recourse but to get exactly what I want immediately. And that's something, again, unpackable in therapy, because it is hard to break those habits, but it's definitely something she could do better with.
And you can even say, like, oh, I'm making really good money right now, but even that, like, you can, the more money you make, the more you can spend. Easy.
That's very, very true. It's very easy to be like, I did it when I started my channel and I started getting income from my channel. I did the same. I was like, well, I've got plenty of money coming in. I can splurge on this. It's fun money. And there are better places my money can go. You know, there really are. And the danger is just when you feel comfortable, you're like, well, you're reassured because that's coming in. You don't think too hard and you end up spending a lot more. It's not that what she's saying isn't valid, it's that she can do so much better with her response to it.
Going out to eat every day, it's probably about like $3,000 a month in food.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. It sounds like a crazy amount, but the days when she spends less, so we're averaging about $100 a day, yeah? So when you consider the grocery haul she does, the HelloFresh, let's assume that's in part of that budget. So that's a chunk of it. And even if she didn't have that, if we were to say she eats out twice a day, and sometimes she eats out 3 times a day, and we've seen her order multiple meals practically every time she's ordered in. So you've got the delivery charges. I know she has a subscription for that, but she could spend $100 a day on that. Like the meal from Red Lobster was well over 100. When you look at even the McDonald's, like quite cheap food, it adds up when you're getting multiple meals. So years ago, she said she estimated about 1,000 on food, but she was with BB then. She was still cooking more. She wasn't as free to just order every single meal as she is now. She's got total freedom with that now. She's got no one to answer. She's not answering to Pete's for it. She's got total freedom. So it wouldn't surprise me if on top of the extra drug expenses, legal and illegal, she's been spending $3,000 Canadian a month on food. It would make sense. It wouldn't make sense in general life, but for her it would make sense.
Do you really think about it every day, naturally, and eating out? It's fucking ridiculous. I just want to be more responsible, but at the same time,
That'd be lovely.
I have problems.
And therefore I can't be held responsible for anything, and therefore I can't work on fixing them, so you can't expect me to say I want to do something and then actually do it.
So I need to work on those problems, I guess, is the answer to that.
That would be wonderful. Have you heard of therapy?
And I don't know if I know I need to get help with that, so.
Yeah, but are you getting help with that? Despite the fact that you have offers of help coming from multiple locations and you have the ability to access actual programs, are you? Because I don't think you are. I think you'd be talking about it if you were.
I'm broken record.
Yeah, you are.
I annoy myself more than I annoy you guys.
That is not true.
I'm not joking.
I'm not joking either.
But like I said, Flora, I'm thankfully, I caught my habits, addiction, whatever.
Again, habit, addiction, whatever. She doesn't want to call it an addiction anymore. And she may have been misusing the word from the begin with. It may have been she had a drug problem that was becoming habitual that could become an addiction. Yeah, she may not have been full out addiction status at that time, but also her attitude towards dealing with that problem doesn't speak to it being solved, doesn't speak to her going into recovery anytime soon. So it could very easily become full-blown addiction, and I think very, very quickly. So she's got some really concerning language, she's got some really concerning actions, and she shows no sign of change, and to be very resistant to reflection on that.
Early, I think, and didn't end up spending too much money. But
okay, the money is not the priority. I mean, it will be when you don't have any. But the fact that you spent less than you could have spent doesn't change that you're still in a very precarious position in money and health, in life choices.
Still too much. I mean, any much is too much on that, but cooking saves so much money. I know, yeah. And just not buying Lush.
Yeah, cooking, not wasting money on Lush, not buying $4,000 of Coke, not spending $500 a time on your weed hauls.
You don't believe me? What? I mean, that's the thing. I'm not going to explain myself anymore, or do in a video addressing everything, because I'd be doing that every day.
Yeah, because you lie every goddamn day, woman. I will say this was hilarious. So I clocked this when I was cutting it down. This was like the 31-minute mark of the 38 video, and I was like, let's see how the next 7 minutes go in terms of not justifying and defending yourself. Let's just see how successful she is with it.
Nobody believes me anyways. So, you know what? Honestly, when they say total freedom comes from just stopping giving a complete shit what other people think about you, it's so true. It's like, oh, you're mad? Okay, go. Oh, well. I mean, I just feel like, unless I'm really, really, really doing something to hurt somebody, yeah, I'm sorry,
So do you not consider your family somebody? Because she is mostly hurting herself. She's got the potential to hurt anybody in her path while she's on the road, because she drives distracted with her live streams. She potentially, no actual I have not done her blood tests while she's been at the side of the road. She has the potential definitely to have driven, if not high, then certainly with substances still in her system, and her family. If you're calling your uncle and every family member saying, I'm an addict, I've used, I need to go to the hospital, will you take me to the emergency room? If you've got them so concerned that they're calling you and checking on you, if you were sequestered in your uncle's house for a couple of days, that is an impact on them. And to say it doesn't harm them, you may not care about their emotions, but inexplicably they care about you because they're checking in on you. And that has an impact that shouldn't be discounted.
But, and even like being called out for like being insensitive about things or things I say, you know, fine, but like just like stupid things that are not even true or nobody's gonna believe me anyways, I'm not gonna waste my energy anymore.
Yeah. Let's see if she doesn't. Let's just keep watching.
And that's, I saw that on AGT. There's a girl that said it just brought tears to my eyes. It's like, I stopped waiting for my life to be perfect to be happy. And it's true. If you're just constantly waiting for all the problems in your life to be fixed before you decide that I'm going to be happy, this has to happen before I'm happy. This has to happen before I'm happy. You're never going to fucking be happy.
Isn't that just the perfect example of toxic positivity? You're like, just be happy with yourself and fuck society. Yes, but if all the things you are unhappy with in life are within your control, are directly driven and caused by a terrible habit or multiple terrible habits that you have in your life, if you are avoiding treatment to be able to live better because you don't want to do it, because it's going to be hard and stuff, and then you're flinging that out to wider society and it being their issue so that it's not yours, that's a problem. And the positivity you're embracing becomes toxic within your life.
Be positive no matter what your shitty situation is.
Even if your shitty situation is 100% caused and controllable by you.
If you can, you know, that's what I've been trying to do. And yeah, I'm a friggin' mess.
Yeah, you are.
But there are people who are a lot worse.
Again, it's society. As long as there are people who are worse than me, I'm fine. When she's not fine right now. She could take steps to be better with her health, both physical and mental. She could get herself into a better position. Addicts go into recovery. Let's use the word addict for the moment. There are so many things in her life she could fix, and she brushes them off with, well, it could be worse, so I'm okay. And you're like, you're going to be okay right into the emergency room again. You're going to be okay right into liver failure, heart attacks, your lungs just collapsing on you. Like, you're going to positively affirm yourself into a major health crisis, because I don't see anything less serious than that actually penetrating your brain.
So, and I'm not comparing my life to anyone else. I'm just saying that everyone's a mess. You know, everyone has problems. So.
Everyone has problems, so I don't have to be personally responsible for my personal problems.
Stop explaining, do more exercise.
Yeah, stop explaining. Do you remember she wasn't going to defend herself? How's that going for her?
Not everyone is a mess. Yes, human beings are a friggin' mess.
Yeah. But human beings as an entity don't all get addicted to coke. Human beings as an entity don't all have the problems that you as an individual are suffering from. And therefore you as an individual have to take control of the problems that you have.
That's Western society constantly telling us that we should be.
Oh, this bullshit.
And in life, exactly, definitely, Western life is depressing. I mean, yes, it's. I mean, I'm not, obviously people are like, you're gonna dog on American Canadian lifestyle. Go live in a third world country. Well, you know what? That's what my aunt did. She left everything. Like, a lot of people do that. They leave their life and like go live in a third world. Like, the stresses are different, is what I'm saying. Like, people just like seem to be like where BB's from, for example. When he calls family, they're all together all the time. No one's on antidepressants.
Did you know no one in a third world country suffers from depression? I didn't know that. I've learned something new. There's so much to unpack in this. Okay, her aunt that went to live in Jamaica, she has told us, left an affluent job to do so. So I'm assuming there was a certain degree of financial planning there to make sure that she was going to be okay making that decision. And that she's obviously got enough of a head on her shoulders that she refused to let Chantal go out and visit her. She felt it would be wrong in the current climate, in the current context of her life. It wouldn't be a good move for her, which I would 100% agree with. And this argument of people do this, yes, people do this. There's a reason those programs on TV, Escape to the Country, Houses in the Sun, this thing of there are people that want to leave their lives and go at a slower pace, and that is an absolutely valid thing. But there's a ton of planning that goes into that to ensure that it's a good choice for your life, and it's not always. Her problems are internal. It doesn't matter where she goes, the problem is inside and goes with her. So if she goes to, let's use the phrase third world country, even though it's very general. So if she went to a third world country, all that would happen is that she would lose her incredibly privileged position of being able to refuse treatment. Being able to say, I have this option and I'm choosing not to take it. Because that's what she would lose. She wouldn't lose any of the problems. She wouldn't change her life in any significant way, because she's never changed her life in any significant way with any change of location she's done. Her problems are her, and until she works on her, she's going to be her wherever she is.
You know, I took a piece of cardboard out of a rice box, Sharpie, did a whole new list.
What good's that going to do? You ignored the last list. What good's that going to do?
This morning, to do.
Let's see you do it and then come talk to us.
And by the way, like when I'm at my friends, like, I don't mean to be rude, like by giggling and laughing and like, you know, we're not doing anything sexual on stream.
So this would be the reaction. She definitely doesn't watch when people, whether I believe this or not, people are like, she was having sex on stream. That's why she was doing those things. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. But remember how she said she doesn't know what's going on, she doesn't watch reactions, she doesn't follow this crap? Interesting that you're sitting here defending, which is something you said you weren't going to address. You weren't going to do videos addressing this 5 minutes ago. You said this, and you're sitting here defending it. And I'm like, hey, you remember you told us you didn't care? This seems like caring.
Or anything like that. Just like, I'm just always giggly and laughy. Like, especially around this person, they make me laugh a lot.
Like I said in the beginning of this react, I think the reason that she did that was one, to show, look how happy I am. Look, we're watching TV, we're doing wholesome things. Yes, a little bit of weed, but we essentially, I can't call him a couple, I'm never going to call him a couple, but look how coupley we are. Look what a great relationship I have with him. It's not just sex on the floor mattress, guys. We've got a connection. And that's all she was proving with that. And her muting every few seconds, to be like, look how amazing, I can't help but talk to him. She doesn't need to be on live. If she's gonna have to mute 20 times, respect your audience and just don't put it online. If you really wanna have a video with him in it so you can get all of the questions and all of the stuff and all the interest, then make a video, but she's too lazy to do that.
We didn't mute to do drugs. That's complete fucking bullshit lies.
Keep not addressing
that shit bothers me. Yeah. Like saying you can hear people doing lines. It's such bullshit.
Keep not addressing it, honey. Keep not addressing it.
People just believe everything. Actually, it doesn't bother me. Like I said, do what you want.
This is her unbothered face.
Well, muting, it happens. You're on live. Sometimes you have to mute.
Yes, true. But muting to the extent you do, how about you just don't come on live? If you want to have a conversation with your boy, don't come on live. It's fine. You don't have to. But if you didn't come online and mute every few seconds, you wouldn't get the level of interest you get in it. And she thrives on people wanting to know more about her. And that's the end of that. I think I've covered pretty much all my feelings on the matter. One positive thing we can take, I suppose, is that she cleaned out her car. Hey, that's been a while. So maybe that was on a to-do list. She was embracing all the stuff she actually has to do. I doubt she's going to do anything else, but we'll see. Maybe she'll prove me wrong. Who can say? I think probably most of us can say, but let's keep the hope alive. Maybe next time she signs on, she would have done her entire list and she can rub it all in our faces. Wouldn't that be a lovely thing? But thus far, based on the video, her attitude is still her attitude, and she doesn't seem to be making progress in a number of areas of her life. But hey, we're assholes if we're concerned. We're assholes if we see things with our eyes that she doesn't want to admit to, and that's where we are. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye bye, everybody.